Royal Randwick. 2 Saturdays, 8 Group 1s, and over $21 million in prize money.
The Championships has brought world racing to Sydney. Although still in its youth, has a certain buzz and aura about it that not many other carnivals around the world have.
It's such an amazing track to ride at and to watch at, so it's honestly like nothing anyone's ever imagined.
Oh, it's become the biggest carnival in Australia now. It's captured everyone's imagination, you know, young, old, men, women, doesn't matter.
The best horses, trainers and jockeys.
I guess it's like AFL Grand Final day for us.
It's the last major carnival of the Australian racing season.
It's kind of like a spring carnival in the autumn. You've got all the best horses there.
Iconic races. The Doncaster.
Latoya cleans them up in the Doncaster.
Derby.
Quick Thinker holds on.
Oaks.
And it's a spectacular win in the Oaks.
Sydney Cup.
And Anna James, an upset in the Sydney Cup.
TJ Smith.
Nature Strip, he's a force of nature today.
Queen Elizabeth.
And a big win for Dave in the Queen Elizabeth Stakes.
A history filled with fabled champions and legendary performances.
Now, the racing's unbelievable on Australia's best race course.
2 weeks of the best racing that you can find in Australia. Best horses across Australia for the greatest stakes of prize money.
This is the Championships, racing's grand final day.
It's high praise, isn't it, from those that know not only about Royal Randwick itself and the course, but the championships, which were born in 2014, so they're quite new, aren't they? Some of these races are not. They go back, way back to the 19th century, in the 1860s, so to speak, but the championships themselves from 2014. I'm with Caitlin Mallion, and Katie, we have got a smorgasbord of racing today and again next week.
Oh, we do, Bruce. And the championships, it's only young, but it's been successful. It's a big day today, of course, the 160th running of the Derby, and it's even older than the Doncaster, which we're going to see a little bit later.
And Katie, it was a touch of sadness for sure, because we heard of the passing of Prince Philip overnight at 99 years of age. Somebody who's been to Royal Randwick with Her Majesty, I should say. In 1992 was the last time, and that's a pay of respect here at Royal Randwick today, as they'll be at the Grand National meeting in Aintree. But this was the year when they were escorted up the course that they decided, yes, the Queen said, you can call Randwick Royal Randwick forever. And what an honour that turned out to be. So, great horse people, we know that. The Prince has been a member of the Jockey Club in England from 1947, a wonderful horseman in his own right, as a carriage driver and a polo player, and took a huge interest in the Queen's racing endeavours. She won the Derby in the very first year that she was coronation in 1953, believe it or not. So those earlier scenes, that was from 1954, the first time the Queen and the Prince Philip had come to Australia. And this is a little connection that you have, because that's James McDonald with the Queen, Caitlin.
Lucky enough, James gets to ride for the Queen every time he rides at Royal Ascot, thanks to Sir Peter Vella, and yeah, he gets to get up close and personal with her and loves the royal family.
And Royal Ascot is such a big part of all our lives. Of course, the Queen's colours have been carried to success many times, including in the Queen Vase quite recently. And wasn't this a lovely touch where Prince Philip was able to present the vase to his wife, Her Royal Highness, the Queen, after the win in the Queen Vase?
They're just such horse lovers. I love it.
So we're going to miss him for sure. He was a character, a one-off, but somebody who had a huge influence, obviously, on the sport of kings. The menu today, it feels like the sport of optimists today and the sport of kings, because there's so many riches at stake.
It's a big day today, of course, the Doncaster Mile, the Australian Derby and the TJ Smith, and then, of course, the babies in the ATC Sires Produce Stakes.
And, Katie, what about the jockeys today? You look at those 4 Group 1s. Who are you looking at today?
I think James McDonald has the best Group 1 rides. He's got Animo, who's a short price in the Sires, Skylab in the Derby, Nature Strip trying to defend his title in the TJ Smith after winning it last year very impressively. And then in the Doncaster, he has Avilius. Thought Hugh Bowman also has a strong book of rides. Of course, he's got Bivouac and Mugatu, who's coming out of the All-Star Mile. The story of the day for me is Jamie Carr. She is riding at Royal Ascot today. She's got Queen of Wizardry in the Sires, Toscanini and Cascadian in the Doncaster. So we wish her all the best.
Been looking forward to seeing her up in Sydney. So the jockeys have been preparing all week. They've been mentally getting ready. And this is the last touch, isn't it, for them when they go out onto the track?
And a lot of these jockeys from Melbourne, when they need to get out there, and the surface, we've had a lot of water. We're going to hear that off Richo a bit later, but you know, the leading jockeys of the championships, Hugh Bowman is up there. He's 22 wins, and 4 of those thanks to Winks, but he certainly loves this carnival. James McDonald's on 12, and Damien Oliver, he won the first race, so he's gone from 6 to 7. He loves this carnival as well.
They're familiar names, aren't they? They are the cream of the crop when you look at those names on that page, and no surprise. So Nisham in 3rd place. So the Nathan Berry Medal Honour Roll, this is specifically for the championship races, plus the country and provincial. So there are 12 races in total, 5 today and 7 that count for it. And again, they're the best names in the business, aren't they?
They are, and fittingly, Tommy Berry, his twin brother, won the medal the first year in 2014 with James McDonald, and of course Glenn Boss, he won it last year, but it works on a 3-2-1 vote system that is given to by the stewards, and yeah, so it's a big honour for the jockeys to try and win this medal.
So the Star Championships, there are 23 individual Group 1 winners running here today. Bivouac and Nature Strip amongst them. He's won 5 of them, hasn't he? And Bivouac's won 3 of them. It's quite remarkable. Montefilia's won a couple. She goes in the Derby today. And the list goes on and on. Avilius with his 3 Group 1s. Could he turn the clock back and win the Doncaster? And Natoya, well, she won the Doncaster last year at 40 to 1. Believe it or not, she's got less weight today and she's at a longer price. So there you go, Katie. She's not without some...
Black Caviar, she's starting to knuckle down to the task now. Here she comes, Black Caviar. She raced up and hit the lead. The best in the world races away.
10 years since she saluted in the TJ. Personally, it was a big moment for myself because I was an old Tulloch Lodge lad, and for myself to win a race named after arguably our greatest ever trainer and with our arguably greatest ever sprinter, my girl Nellie. You know, it was a special moment to be there at Randwick and to showcase her.
She's giving Sydney some of the black magic, and look at her go, Black Caviar. She's going to set a new Group 1 record in Australia. She's truly in a league of her own. Black Caviar racing away from Epaulet. Black Caviar doesn't let us down.
Just on dusk at Randwick, and she was walking around the back and the people were loving her and taking her in, and she was getting photos. And I reckon that day, just in the dust, a bit of light, and just one of those sort of solitude moments for me with her. I reckon she looked at me and winked and said, "Hey Moods, I've done a pretty good job." I thought, "You have done a good job, darling. You don't need to be doing this anymore." Motherhood, second nature to her, you know. I hope she finds a good one. She's deserved of it. She's a good mother. She looks so great. She's been well cared for the team up there, and I hope she gets one out there to run and really get the job done.
So he would know, wouldn't he, Pete? He had that incredible association with her. What a gift she was to the racing world, unbeaten Miss Perfection, and here she is as a broodmare. Katie, it's not a bad paddock she's got herself into.
She's one of the greats, and I still think that she looks like she could go around, and she probably still win the TJ today. She was a superman.
I'm joined by Seven's own Abby Gelmy. Abby, you're here on an official capacity today as Star Championships Ambassador. Tough gig, huh?
It is a tough gig. I'm used to holding the mic, as you know, Kate, so this is lovely. Always lovely to see you, but no, the sun is out in Sydney and the Star Championships are about to get underway, and I could not be more excited.
Well, I'm always excited to see you because I have to say you're one of my favourite fashionistas when it comes to racing fashion. You're also judging the fashion stakes today. What will you be looking for?
Well, it's a bit of a tough one. Firstly, thank you. Coming from you, Kate, I'll take that. That's racing royalty. I think I'm looking for something a little bit different. Obviously, you've got felts, and you and I are both rocking the veils today. Mine makes it a bit difficult to drink champagne, so I don't recommend that for most punters. But I guess just embracing all the autumn trends that we're seeing at the moment. And, of course, black and white, because it is Derby Day.
It is. Well, you've definitely got it on trend. You've also got a very exciting new role at Channel 7. Tell us a little bit about it.
No, I'm really excited. I've been moved to Melbourne, so it's nice to come up here, doing a little bit of AFL. Excited to be part of the Olympic team as well. Obviously, cricket later in the year. Got some motorsport going on, and hopefully if I can squeeze in some racing, I'd love that too. So it's busy, but it's really fun.
It sounds so busy. I'm glad you could fit us in today. I hope you have a wonderful day on the track.
So long as you can fit me in for a champagne later, Kate, I'll be very happy.
Done.
Run in 1866. The Doncaster is perhaps the most famous mile race in Australia.
Racing in the Doncaster.
The Randwick 𝐓𝐡𝐞 Mile handicap has a storied history, with past winners including Winx.
So Winx has drawn clear in the Doncaster. Here's 9 in a row. She breaks all the records today. She's a champion, Winx.
Sunline.
Sunline's in front. Shogun Lodge tries to pick her up. The great mare fight. She hangs on.
And Superimpose, who won the race a second time, shouldering a whopping 59.5 kilos.
Superimpose is mowing down Liverstone Lane. Superimpose has done it again. He's done it again.
TJ Smith and daughter Gay Waterhouse are both synonymous with the race, each with 7 wins.
She's in front in this mighty mare. More Joyous goes on to win it from shootout.
Chris Waller is closing in, already 6 to his name, including 2015 when he trained the first 4 home.
Sacred Falls and Royal Ascent. Sacred Falls. Can he do it back to back? Sacred Falls does it. Back to back for Sacred Falls, beat Royal Ascent and Weary.
Glenn Boss, with 7, has the most wins of any jockey.
And it's another Doncaster for Glenn Boss. Brutal.
While in 2018, Happy Clapper, without Winx breathing down his neck, ran the fastest Doncaster Mile in the history of this great race.
It's his day today. Happy Clapper takes out the Doncaster.
Well, it does take a star to win the Doncaster. Michelle Payne joins us. Katie, welcome, Michelle. You come up from Melbourne today.
Thank you, Bruce. Great to be here.
It is an incredible day. I mean, it's hard to know what is the feature race with a Derby and a TJ Smith, but I guess it's the Donny, isn't it?
For me, it's the Doncaster. I say it's Doncaster Day. My sisters all come up for the day out and their friends, they absolutely love it. And for me, it's a really special day. I think watching Patrick win it when he was 16 years old back on Soho Square so many years ago, it was sort of embedded in my mind as one of the best days, and to have been able to take part in it as well, it's really special.
And in 2012, you on 𝐓𝐡𝐞, of course, you won the sires on her, but you thought you were going to win the Doncaster at one
Yeah, as you can see here, Katie, she shot through on the fence, and at the 300, I thought, you know, we were a real winning hope, and it was so exciting. And that last 200 metres, as you could imagine, they were all coming at her, and More Joyous obviously just had too much class, but to finish third in such a prestigious race, it was one of the best days of my career and so exciting.
You talked about More Joyous being a little bit too classy. She was an 8-time Group 1 winner. We actually caught up with her quite recently, Katie, didn't we?
I was third wheeling yours and Annie's date there, and I took you to see More Joyous and Dear Demi. They just got off the float. They went over, I think they were served by Frankel over there, and yeah, she was the best, wasn't she? She was so tough, and to win all those Group 1s the way she did, it was brilliant to meet her.
Well, big chances for Rachel King and Jamie Carr. We're all excited about Jamie today in the Group 1. So we thought we'd have a look at how many women in Australia have won a Group 1 as jockeys. There are 11 in total, and both of you are on the list. Katie, you're the only one to have won a Group 1 at Moonee Valley. And Michelle, you're top of the pops in more ways than one. We know that, but it's a list that's growing, isn't it? And Jamie Carr's pretty interesting because she's one behind you.
She's catching me very quickly, Bruce. She's rapidly making ground and has a really good chance today, I think, especially in Cascadian. As I said last time I was with you guys on Slipper Day, he's the type of horse that could really challenge in this race. He's drawn a good barrier in barrier 3, which might not be the best for him because he gets back and might need a bit of luck, but I think she's got a really live chance, and so exciting for her.
You've been saying this for the last couple of months about Cascadian, so today's the day.
Today's the day, we'll see, and very excited for Jamie to have such a live hope in it.
Well, he's a horse, he's a bit enigmatic because you're not quite sure, but he's been beaten very narrowly in the Cantala Mile, which is the big mile at Flemington during the Melbourne Cup Carnival twice. So he's good enough, I think, and I think we're all starting to warm to him, Michelle. So, well, there you go, Jamie with a big, big chance. What about the Book of Rides today, Michelle? These are the Group 1s we looked at. J-Mac looks like he's got a pretty good, strong hand, doesn't it?
J-Mac does. He's got a very strong hand. He's stepping onto Animo, and he was so good in the slipper. I think he's definitely got a live chance in him. And Nature Strip, you know, he's taking on some really good sprinters here today in the TJ, but he's obviously the class runner.
And it wouldn't be a Book of Rides without a brother-in-law, and Karen McAvoy's got plenty. The Pains go everywhere, don't they, Katie? They sure do. So Karen with plenty there. So let's have a look at the chairman's quality.